Today, I am joined by an organization leader who has taken new heights and who will not stop, who has most recently and currently is featured on Radar.io's front page. I have the great honor of being joined by Yamazonia. Hello, how are you doing today?
I'm well. How are you?
I'm doing well. It's great to have you here. We're doing some yeah. I gotta start because we're doing the video today. We don't usually do that on Realm Maintenance, but if you want to watch this, you can watch it on the Bonusful Productions YouTube. But I gotta ask about the bear. Who is this bear?
So, this was a gift from my ex. This is like a token of his appreciation because he knows that I like anime. I like very. I don't know how to describe it. Like I don't like the soft things. I like the this. So when other people were getting me like little feminine gifts and stuff like that, he was like, "I'm gonna get you this." So
Nice and gruesome.
yeah.
So if you are just an audio podcast listener, it's a fuzzy bear with a bunch of bones and blood showing. That's probably
and everything.
So first things first, for those who might not know who you are you and what do you do on the internet?
Okay, so I go by the screen name Yamazonia. You can say Yama. Like communities pronounces it like all different types of ways, and that's if they're even calling me by that name to begin with. But long story short, I lead the community of Black WoW players, and our goal is to basically empower the underprivileged and the marginalized, especially fellow Black people, to have better access to quality gaming equipment and just overall better experience with gaming in general. Because as unfortunate as it may sound, bigotry and hatred and racism and misogyny and sexism, all those things are it's like a feature when it comes to any online platform of gaming. So that's our primary mission, actually, is just to change the narrative that is that, and just look good doing it.
Yeah. And that's, we're gonna dive deeper into Black Mafia in a little bit, but it's so important because it is unfortunately everywhere, and for some reason, especially in the gaming sphere, and we all know it. But before we dive into Black Mafia and more about what you guys do, let's talk about Yama. Let's talk about you, and let's talk about WoW. What do you do when you spend WoW? How long have you been playing? What's your main? What do you spend your time doing in WoW?
So I spend a lot of time. Currently, I do keys more than anything else. I have been plugging my way ever since keys were a thing to begin with, and I tend to in I'm not too sure what it's called, but I tend to end up in the higher ranks at the end of each season. Before keys were a thing, I was a mythic raider, a CE raider. But then my guild then was toxic, so I left them. And before that, I spent, I'd say, a good 5 to 8 years, since childhood, just being a PvPer. I've been glad a few times, not any season as of late. I don't want to be that person that's I was glad 5 years ago, so it still counts. It doesn't. It does not count. But I was glad a majority of my PvP years, and I've been glad on a few different classes like a Holy Paladin. I've played Red. I've played Resto Sham, quite a few Warrior Rogue, but a lot of the classes have changed since then. So if I were to pick it up now, I would be absolutely garbage.
Sure.
But yeah, I've been playing I am 24 now. Almost 15 years, I would say, on and off. I think the only expansion I didn't really play much was Warlords and Draenor. But I do everything. I could do everything. Let me rephrase. I could do everything, but as of right now, that's pretty much what I do. in the game.
In the game, yeah. I
The
like
game.
it.
I
Yeah.
main right now a blood DK. I play most of my characters on a controller. I think I have a mage, not a priest, a warlock. It's crazy because I don't even play these other classes. I just have them like for my professions. I got to think about what I have. So mage, warlock, warrior, and that's it. That's pretty much all I play as of right now. Oh, my paladin as well. I've been trying to relearn retribution on her, but I've been a holy paladin like all the Shadowlands, and I swapped from healing to DPS, and I swapped from DPS to tanking now, and I do all of that on a Xbox controller.
All right. That's okay. So it's everything on an Xbox controller.
Yes, I think the highest key I've timed, not during Dragonflight, but during Shadowlands was I think it was a 22. I think it was a Sanguine Depths on my Holy Power on a controller. Yeah, I don't recommend it. I absolutely
That's
DPS
impressive, though.
and like tanking is loads easier on a controller than like healing because you have to like hit certain people and my memory had to be insane to time that key, but we did, and I never did it again.
I mean, there's some good systems to do tab targeting and stuff on a controller, and I feel like especially melee classes and Blood Death Knight would work pretty well for that.
Yeah, a few of them do. I don't necessarily like tab target unless like I like maybe like if I do a big pull, then I'll have to like it's weird. Okay, it's so weird to explain. So how I have it set up is whatever the cursor in the middle of the screen is looking at, that's what I'm automatically going to target.
Oh, okay.
So if I need to interrupt something, I have a macro to where it's automatically going to interrupt the most important interrupt that's needed. So if something, hypothetically, if there is multiple things going off, whatever is going to cause the most damage or one-shot people, that is what is I'm automatically going to interrupt, basically. So like I get that question a lot, like when I'm streaming, like how do I interrupt quickly if there's like a big pack of mobs? But
yeah,
that's how I do it.
So is that a specific add-on, or have you set that up like through macros?
A few of my spells are macros. The controller has, which is another question that I get on my stream. The controllers, a lot of people think that the controller doesn't have enough buttons or keybinds, but it does. You know, you obviously have all your A, B, X, Y, and then you have left trigger, A, B, X, Y, right trigger, A, B, X, Y, L, B, R, B, the buttons, the mouse, the little mouse pad. Like, there's a bunch of different keybinds that you can make on a controller. And just to make it easier for myself, I do macro a few of the same, not the same spells, but the same like countdown for spells. Like if for my Death Knight, I have 3 2-minute cooldowns, and I have all those macroed into one for one button.
That makes sense.
It makes the loads easier.
Instead of doing 3 buttons and like trying to mash them all at the same time.
Yeah. I enjoy playing on the controller. I feel like this is way better. I feel like I tend to like hunch over if I'm playing on a mouse and keyboard, like I said, like this. But on a controller, I get to sit back and put my feet up and not have my legs swell up from sitting here being a degenerate on this game.
Yeah, I feel that. I played a Demon Hunter on a controller for a while, and it's very like a change of pace where it's just yes, you can sit differently, and also it almost feels like a different game.
Yeah, I agree. I think I've been playing a majority of my WoW career playing on mouse and keyboard, so picking up a controller is just like it's like a refreshing view on the game. It makes it a little bit more difficult, but once you get it going, you do well.
Yeah,
I do well.
Yeah, not everyone does. Yeah, exactly. Would you also be one of those people who like beats Dark Souls on a Guitar Hero controller?
Possibly. Funny enough, I was thinking about doing, those mats that you stand on and have like all the arrows.
Yeah.
And stuff, like the dance mats.
For sure.
Enough. So I looked up a video on how to like plug that up and keybind it in WoW. And I think I'm gonna say I'm working on it now. But I am going to be doing that because basically I work from home. So I want to be like more active when I'm sitting here for hours, no life in this game.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna go side note, I'm gonna go to, gotta slim down a little bit. It's summertime, my back can't be big. But but yeah, so I am working on actually doing that. So I'm not gonna like have any spells or anything on the mat itself, but I do want to have like my movement
Yeah.
keybinds on there. So like, if I want to move forward, then I step forward, back, all that stuff. And plus it'll be more, I guess, like immersive for me as
Right.
well. I'm always looking for new ways to play the game.
With AR and VR being the big thing, you can
Yes.
and then you can still like hold the controller, right? And stand there and do the rest of your keybinds on the
Yes.
controller. Yeah.
And,
Wow, that's really cool.
yeah, I'm working on it. I can't wait.
I know I had one of those like growing up, and like for a dance game, and it was a cheap one, which meant that half the time it didn't respond, so you had to like stomp it. I hope it's not going to be quite that hard for you to press those buttons.
I ordered a cheap one because I don't want to I don't want to spend much money on something that's not possible.
Yeah.
But I looked it up; it is possible. So I'm working. Still gotta take out the box. I've been lazy. I gotta take out the box.
That's a great way to get moving.
Working. Yeah.
Fun.
I need to drop. I need to slim down. It's summertime outside. I'm trying to be outside this summer. Let me not even say that because I'm not 9 times out of 10. I'm gonna be playing World of Warcraft anyhow.
Let's be honest. Like that's what we do. Oh, it's summertime. I'm gonna go outside. No, I'm gonna play WoW. I'm gonna be playing WoW.
Exactly. Rent costs too much for me to be outside like that anyway.
It ain't happening. Yeah. All right. So I feel like we're getting to know you. I like it. You're a controller player. Maybe some dance mats coming up. You should definitely check out. I assume you're gonna show that off on stream, right?
I am.
All right. So I'm definitely looking forward to that. So let's talk about Black Mafia. What kind of organization is? But you mentioned that it's obviously to represent and kind of. Well, yeah, I'll let you say the words instead and like really get the what is Black Mafia at its core, and then what do you do?
Okay, so Black Mafia to me, well, if I have to explain okay, let me start from the top, from the beginning.
Let's do it.
I had a guild that I was in. I was in for a long time. We were close. Or at least I thought we were close. We all knew what each other looked like. We played often. Some of us had each other's phone numbers and stuff. Like, we were, I thought, an actual guild, However, that guild was terrible at everything. I think I was like, what triggered it for me, because they were always very triggering to begin with, but I always found myself like, I guess quieting myself down or not speaking up when I would hear them say certain things or anything like that, because I didn't want to be like that person that's always like, you guys are wrong, or like, ruining the vibe, as they put it, actually. One of the things I've learned just coming up in any online thing is like, as soon as you say something like, hey, that's not okay, or hey, you can't say the N-word or anything like that, it's like immediately you're the problem. You're the one causing drama. It's your fault, and then they attack you, then they kick you out. So so with that, they were terrible at everything, like as far as arenas, RBGs, keys, like rating, like they just were terrible. And I would try to be like as patient as possible, because outside of the gaming factor, like they were cool. They were actually like enjoyed, aside from the changes that somebody would go on. I actually enjoyed being around them and stuff. So I was very patient. But We were doing a key. This is back in Shadowlands. We were doing a key. I think it was an necrotic wake, which is the easiest key of the dungeon of Shadowlands in that expansion. And I think we wiped like possibly 3 times and I was on the Holy Paladin thing. We wiped 3 times. And instead of, the tank at the time using defensives or health pots or health stones or something to keep himself alive, which, as a healer, you track all that stuff. He used nothing at all. And then immediately started coming at me. So I'm like, oh, okay. I made the decision in that quick second, like, I'm not going to do this anymore. Like, I'm not here to, like, I'm here to play the game, obviously, but I'm not here to play with y'all. Like, I'm trying to, like, get my IO up and stuff. Like, I don't know, it's like a certain satisfaction when you have like a high IO or high, arena rating and things like that. Get all the extra little rewards. So I left. I left the group. I left the guild. I left the Discord. I just dipped like completely, but I wasn't rude about it. I didn't say anything to anybody. I wasn't wrong. Like, I feel like in hindsight, I probably could have like communicated a little bit better, but it's like, how do you exactly tell somebody that you're leaving?
Yeah, it's rough.
You just gotta leave. So I left. As soon as I left, right, in the game, they started whispering me a bunch of like racial slurs, started talking about my hair, started like calling, like, it was stereotyping me. They was like, oh, that's why you have 3 baby daddies, racist things. So I blocked them. But then they started messaging me on Discord saying different things. Like, they sent pictures of like memes they've made of me as like a monkey or a donkey, or they were creative. Blocked them on that too. They started like commenting on all my YouTube videos. Like, they were really going in on me. Like, I really hurt their feelings. They really started going in on me. But yeah, on all of my social media platforms, like, they started attacking me or just leaving a bunch of like nasty comments and everything. I ended up reporting them in the game, and I just blocked them everywhere else. I don't know if Blizzard like banned them. I think they did, but the I don't know. Somebody emailed me back and was like, "Hey, like, we took care of your issue, blah blah blah. Like, just block you from here on." But that situation is what sparked me being like, okay, I'm sick and tired. It's been a long time. It's been 14, 15 years at this point. I am sick and tired of like just everything. Like, I just want to exist freely, and I can't even do that in a game. Like, this is all, like, I understand, like, they implement real life things in a game, but like at the end of the day, it's a game, and I don't want to be getting called the N-word from random people and just talked about my appearance and stuff like that. Because me personally, I feel like people can say whatever they want about like how I play the game or how I do things, but like once you start attacking how I look, that is crazy to me, because it's like, I look better than you, your mom, your dad, your father, your sister, your nephew, your son, your everything. I am the best looking person that you've seen, and it is, for me, it's like, I've seen all of y'all personally. Like, the tank actually was like, it's like this man's hairline was like back here. It was just like mind boggling to me. Like, you're talking like about my hair when you are literally balding at the age of 25. Like, I didn't understand that. Oh yeah, worked up all over again. But yeah, so I talked to my uncle about it because he plays World of Warcraft too, and he was like we had like a really long conversation about like what to do and how to conduct yourself, which made me mad a little bit, because I'm like, why is it like every time something happens to like me or like just Black people in general, it's like we always have to be the ones to turn the other cheek, or be nice, or have some decorum, or whatever adjectives people use to say that we should be nice or like receiving when people are being hateful towards us. Like, why? So I started looking for other Black peoples. I started on Twitch. Like, I would type in the Black tag on Twitch, because I'm like, in my head is like, I'm not the only one that's going through this. I cannot be the only one that's going through this, like, at all. Like, and I started coming across a bunch of Black people, and I'm like, oh my God, it's 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 more of us. Like, I started getting excited. I'm like, okay, everybody, it's not just me, because I genuinely thought it was like just me and my uncle who played this game. Like, I've never come across another Black person in all the years I've been playing WoW that played this game. So to see other people, who look like me and stuff, like, it was, it made my heart a little bit warm, it made me real happy, real happy. So I started asking. I'm like, hey, what you doing? You wanna play together? I see you play a Resto, Sean. Listen, I'm DPS right now. That we can do everything together. Like, what's up? So I started just what's upping a bunch of people and everything. So we initially just started in the game, but I'm like, all right, like, everybody's not on the same realms. They're not on servers and whatnot. So I made a Discord, and we just started, like, going up from there. Like, I have a friend, her name is Nal. She was the first one to actually join the community, and she's been with me since day one. That is my literal day one, because it's funny, because she was asking me, she messaged me about, like, how to play a Holy Paladin. And then I'm on Discord with her, because I think I was like number 4 in the world at that point, or at least in North America, according to Warcraft log. I was like really high up there. And she whispered me, she was like, hey, can you, help me on Paladin? And then I'm like, yeah. So the Discord thing wasn't working. So I'm like, just call me. Girl, just call me. So we called each other, and I was like, we started, like, chatting and stuff. And she was like, oh yeah, blah, blah. And I'm like, well, I'm Black and I'm trying to start this community. And she was like, oh, I'm Black too. It was like, yeah, it was like, oh my God.
Let's go.
Yeah, I was like, oh my God. Like, she was like, yo. She was like, I knew there were other people, but I didn't know, like, this is a Kawiki thing. Like, this is a
Yeah, that's
a
wild.
thing. So yeah, so she joined. She was the first one to join, and we would sit in, like, streams for hours, just talking to people, vetting people, just making sure that the people that we were sending invites to actually had, like, character. Like, I wasn't going to invite anybody that was hateful. Even if they were Black, nobody hateful, no homophobia, no transphobia, no misogyny, no nothing at all. Because it's like, I feel, and I'm saying I know that, like, as Black people, we've been through enough, and I don't want to have, like, people who are going to, like, specifically Black people, who are going to attack other Black people just because of, like, their background or their sexual orientation or anything like that. Like, it makes no point. Because I feel like me being as pro-Black as I am, and let me insert this also in here, me being pro-Black does not mean that I hate white people or anything like that. That's definitely not what that means. It's, for me, it just means I just want to better my community and my people, and I just want to see us more. But yeah, so, like, me being pro-Black is like, I have to make sure that my space is open for everybody. Everybody, like, everybody has to be able to come up in here, because, like, I can't support the community and then exclude a major part of the community that is all of us. So yeah, we will sit there and we will watch people's streams and stuff, just to make sure they weren't saying anything. We would ask some questions and everything. But eventually, the community just started growing. We went from just us 2 to 5 to 10 to 30 to 50 and everything. And now I think we're almost at maybe, like, almost 150 people. Mind you, we started a year ago.
Right.
This is big for us. This is very, very big for us. Like, and the main thing that I get, like, when I talk to people, is like, oh, I didn't know there were other Black people. And I was like, yeah, so we all sound like broken records. We all sound like broken records. Like, we've all, like, when we would have conversations in the Discord or anything, or we would just talk about, like, our experiences and our trauma, good and bad, and it just, like, it was like confirmation for me. Like, I don't remember the exact day, but it was confirmation for me that, like, I'm not the only one that's going through these things. I'm not the only one that's experiencing this. Like, I'm not, like, I'm not like alone on this ship. And I tell them, you know, what I want, where I want to see us in the future, how I want us to go about it, and everything. And they're on board. They are definitely on board. So I know we're not as, you know, big as other communities or as like popular as other communities, but that's okay. We understand that, you know, we're not for everybody, and obviously everybody doesn't like us, but there's nothing that we can do about that except for like worry about us. Um, so with that, let me bring up yesterday, for example. So Radio.io had, you know, posted us, featured us for Juneteenth yesterday.
Yeah.
I've been connecting with people from Blizzard as well to, you know, help get us out there and everything. And one of the comments, you know, obviously when they posted it, we got a bunch of negative comments and stuff like that. But we, you know, it is what it is. It's expected at this point. And one of the guys up there was like I think he said like they need like more diversity or something. Like I'm not sure if that's like verbatim, but it's like if you're looking at a picture of like 6 or 7 people, you know, like we're a community of almost 150. It's not just Black people in there. We have Asian people. We also have white people in there. And yes, it is very much a space for Black people to be heard and seen and to connect with. But again, we also do have, you know, other people in there as well. And we love on everybody. We take care of everybody. We try to speak life and love onto everybody, like, because that's really all we can do. And me personally, I just know like the conversations I've had with my community members, like everybody is going through something. Everybody is going through like some form of trauma or setback or whatever, and it would make no sense for them to log on to want to play a game and then, you know, start being attacked by, you know, people who are technically going through the same thing that you're going through. It doesn't make sense to me. But I went on a whole tangent. Overall, it started with just one bad experience, and now it's over 100 bad experiences throughout the games. And it's not just World of Warcraft. So like, it started with World of Warcraft, but now we are branching out into other other games like the games Blizzard have, Overwatch and definitely Call of Duty. Definitely Call of Duty. I remember being on Call of Duty in my earlier years and them online lobbies. Crazy. People think it's bad now. Oh my God. Back then, it's like, I felt like as soon as you breathe, it's like they can tell that you were Black and just start going in on you. But good times. Like they were very creative when they come to like their racial slurs. And they you know, they gotta
I don't think that's a good thing.
But yeah, we started stretching into other games because, you know, everybody everywhere is, I'm not gonna say we're exactly going through the same thing, but all of us ain't lying about like what we're going through. And a lot of the people online tend to say that like, you know, we're imagining things or their favorite. I don't see it, so it doesn't happen. You know, that's not happening to me. Oh, I have a Black friend. My sister's aunt's nephew's step cousin-in-law is Black, and they don't go through anything, so you're lying. And it's like, it's annoying, you know? Like, it's like, how are you going to tell us what we're going through? How are you going to tell us, like, how to feel about, like, certain things that are being said? Or, like, whenever one of the popular streamers, and not just in World of Warcraft, but just as a whole, whenever one of the popular streamers, whenever they're losing their engagement, they got to come out with either being racist or homophobic or something, whatever it is, to like, you know, garner engagement for their channels. And it's like, it's expected. At this point, it's not going to get any better, I feel, unless like we continue doing what we're doing and changing the narrative on that. Another one of our goals is when it comes to the younger generations up and coming, we just want to make sure, at least try our hardest. Like, it may not be this generation, it may not be the next one, but we just want to try our hardest just to make sure that, you know, the up and coming people of color are not going through what we've gone through and are still technically going through over the years. Like, I want them to see us and, you know, think that they could beat us, which I'm sure that they absolutely can. And, you know, be happy and rejoice and, you know, just not just be that one person that's a side character or like that's fodder or whichever. So we have a lot of different goals. Absolutely have a lot of different goals in mind, but let me say in mind because we're acting on all of them. But again, our main one is just to make sure that like people know that there's a truly genuine safe space out there for the most part. For the most part, because we do be talking about some stuff. We do be having like topics, and you know, with any community, there are going to be disagreements and arguments and fights and things like that. And I've had to curse people out, and people have called me big back and all that other stuff, you know. But we come together at the end of the day, and you know, a lot of people in there know how to apologize and receive and, you know, hear other people out and actually have conversations. You know, definitely not in the heat of the moment, of course, but I feel like we all understand that this community is important to us. It's bigger than all of us individually, and it's required at this point. Only time that I'm only reminiscing, but I can't count the amount of like messages I've gotten from other Black people who are like, "Oh my God, I didn't know you were there." And then when they join, like it's like they feel like they're at home. You know, they don't have to make themselves more palatable for other communities. They don't have to hide themselves. They can speak freely because, like, you know, obviously as Black people, we do say the N word up in there. But it's just it's nice. It's nice, like, so that's pretty much what we want to do. And it's only been a year, and I feel like we've made a huge amount of progress. And I feel like I'm talking you to death. But we made a huge
That's why you're here.
in that year, in this year, and I can only imagine like where we're going to be the next year or the next 2 years, or the next 5 years and stuff. So we have a lot to do. So little time, but a lot to do.
Yeah.
But I hope I answered your question. I feel like I over answered your question, but
no, there's no over answering. I love when my interviewees talk, because then that means that's why you're here. I'm just here to ask you questions and you talk to me. So it's great. It's I wanted to. I mean, you've been going for a year now, and kind of a double-sided question. The first thing, what has been the most challenging with leading Black Mafia?
Honestly, I would say I don't think like leading the community itself has been challenging. I feel like everybody in there understands that, again, what we're trying to do is bigger than everybody individually. So again, yes, we have disagreements. Yes, we argue about a lot of things practically every day about something, but I really don't think that like anybody in there is difficult to manage or anything like that. And the ones that were, we've moved. Outside of the community, I would just say it's been hard trying to honestly not respond to all the messages I get, to not say what's on my mind a lot of the times, because I know that I'm the face. Well, technically, we're all the faces of the community, but I'm the leader, you know, and I can't say everything that is on my mind because I don't want it to, not saying it would, because everything I be wanting to say is like, is in response to the, you know, the hate messages that we get. But I don't want to, you know, people to look at my page or anything like that and then see that I'm always arguing with somebody, I'm always coming at somebody. Like, I don't want to be that person that's like scene for drama or whatever the case may be. And I want that's honestly the hardest thing for me to do, because the messages that we got yesterday, I'm like, all right, I need to go keep myself busy. I need to take myself out to eat. I need to go watch a movie or something, because if I sit here and I look at these messages that I get, I'm going to go crazy, because I just don't understand how people can be so like hateful. Again, all they did yesterday was post a picture of us saying Happy Juneteenth. That's it. They didn't say, hey, we're doing this, or they're trying to do that, or they're trying to take over the game, and they're trying to like, take up your spaces or move you guys out or anything like that. Like, that's all they did. And it's like, I feel like when people see Black people or see the community name, it's like, it just triggers them. They start foaming at the mouth, like they gotta say something, which is crazy to
It's
me.
wild.
Very wild. Like, if I see something I don't like, I'm either going to mute, I'm going to block, I'm going to scroll past. Like, I don't have to comment on every single thing that I don't like. But I also notice, it's always the little anime profile pictures with like 2 followers, nothing going on, nothing to say. And then that's like another deterrent for me, because it's like, I'm not going to argue with nobody that can't even talk to me on their main profile.
Right.
They can't say anything to me regarding anything at all. And it's like, those times in the past where I would find myself arguing with them, I know they lost, because they would start talking about how I look. They couldn't have this conversation anymore. But that's the hardest part for me, is like, because in my head it's like, I'm defending the community. I know everybody in here. We're not hateful. We don't go on random people's posts, talking mess. We don't comment on people's things, being nasty to people. We don't attack people. We don't harass people. We don't do literally any of that. We just log on this game and we play the game together. Or, we go, like, a lot of us, obviously, we're in different states and stuff. We go see each other. We don't really care about like what other people are doing or have to say, because as unfortunate as it may sound, a lot of people don't care for us at all, which is fine. It is what it is. It's not going to change anytime soon. We got us, and I feel like that is like what's important to me. To me,
right?
Like, a lot of the things that they say is like, it can be very triggering, but they won't get me.
No,
They're not going to get me. They almost got me a few times. Because I don't speak for everybody in there, but at the same time, I speak for everybody in there. And I have to remain calm and cool, and I'm just not going to argue with nobody when I just block.
Yeah.
I'm just going to block you. I'm going to hide your replies. I don't care. Like, you just
move on.
Actually, now that I'm thinking about it, it's kind of difficult. I'm not saying I keep like my people on a leash, but it's like when they see the stuff, they be like, "All right, you like just," and I'm like, "Bro, don't do that too much now." Like, but like, come on, I reel it back on, and like, it's okay, a little comment here and there, because they do becoming crazy. It's okay, but I don't want that to be like our image online. Let me be specific. Online. Now, in person, that's different, because we're planning on going to BlizzCon this year. A few of us as a community and everything, and we're already getting posts and comments and stuff made. When we see you guys, like, we're gonna fight y'all. We're gonna do something to harm y'all, or whatever the case may be. And I let people from Blizzard know, like, I'm letting y'all know right now. Online, people can say whatever they want to say online because they're hiding behind the screen. They're a punk in real life. I'm not. That will be my first and my last BlizzCon, because I don't have the patience for like in-person things. Like, if I can reach out and touch you and you're being threatening, you're too close, and I'm going to react. I'm being very honest. But they assured us that we will be fine. It will be cool.
And
They would
it's
have they're gonna have securities and everything all up in there. And I'm like, okay, all right. Right now we all gonna be recording.
right.
Me, I'm gonna cry on the spot. Like they
Yeah.
were bullying us, and Blizzard ain't do nothing to help. And I don't think they want that right now because
They have
I
enough.
want that. They have enough
Yeah.
they going through right now.
Yeah.
I don't think they want anything extra on top of that,
Yeah.
especially with
And I mean, Twitter's never been a place to have any sort of constructive conversation.
I agree.
Yeah. And
I agree.
it's unfair. It shouldn't be your job, but it is your job right now, and we need you to continue. And I can speak for real maintenance, and we will continue to signal boost. We'll be by your side. I'll be there at BlizzCon. I would love to meet you and hang out. Yeah. And we got to stand up for each other, and we're standing with you. So we're right here with you. And so the flip side on the challenging, what has been, you already talked about so many good things about getting together, but if you could choose one moment or one thing coming out of this past year, what has been the best part of Black Mafia?
Honestly, I would say if the community is quiet, the Discord, right? It's quiet. It's been quiet all day. Nobody's really said anything. Nobody shared any TikToks or memes or anything like that. I'll join the voice chat. Or anybody else will just join the voice chat and they'll just sit there. And then one person would join, another person would join, another person would join. And it would go from me just sitting there by myself for a few minutes to like 15, 20 people just in there laughing, talking and joking and talking mess and everything. And like, hey, you want a game? Let's run some keys. You doing a raid? Let's do the raid. Let's do this. Let's do this. Let's do that. Blah, blah, blah. Like, and that's been the best experience for me because if you play WoW, let me phrase. If you play WoW on your own, if you've plugged through a lot of things, you know how hard it is to get anything done or to push your ratings and whatever pillar that you do, whether that be rating or arenas or keys and stuff like that. It's hard to just do, especially if you are not a meta class. Let me put it that way, which is crazy to me. It's that boggles my mind so much. Like anything below a 20, you can time anything below a 20 with any class, any spec combination. But I feel like the people in the game is like WoW has, I would say, over 20 different class combinations as far as class and specs and stuff like that. But it's like people only want to play with like 3. And if you're not playing with those 3, then it's like you're immediately ignored. You're never getting invited. People don't acknowledge you. Then even in game, it's like I'll play and be specific. Back in Shadowlands, we had all the covenants and everything. It was like all I remember is security, because that's all I played is the Kyrians.
That's the only important one.
I was a Kyrian Holy Paladin in the world of Venthyr Holy Paladins.
Yes.
Back when the action hollow was like huge for everybody, but it was 4-minute cooldown. That's too long for me, especially if I'm pugging. It's too many variables in a pug. But I would play Kyrian Holy Paladin. And I was always number 1 on my realm as far as like Holy Paladin. And then, when I got into Warcraft Logs, I ended up, being always top 10. Always top 10. Not season 1. Not season 1, because we're going to ignore season 1. Anything past that, I was always top 10. And the amount of hate I got for not playing Venthyr, and Venthyr at the time was like all about damage, it's damage output. But I always found myself as a Kyrian Holy Paladin doing way more damage than a lot of Venthyr Holy Paladins because I knew my class. I know what I'm doing. Like I know, I clicked back then. I was a clicker, but clearly I'm better than everybody else because like can't
made
tell
it happen.
Listen, I'm up here on the scoreboard and you're trying to tell me that I'm bad because like I click things, but the numbers don't lie. It's that way. So I joined this I don't want to say his name. I joined one of the popular Holy Paladin dudes discords, and it was like a hive mind in that Discord. People would come in and join you, be like, hey, like, what should I play? Blah blah blah. Totally fine, man. What company? Blah blah. And everybody's like, if you're not playing anything, you're automatically wrong. You're a loser. You're this. You're that. You're tragic. All that stuff. You're trolling. And me, I'm like, I play Curie.
I do well.
Yeah, I do well. Like I'm okay with it. And I kid you not, it was like at least 10 people that replied to me. It was like, no, you're trolling. You're wrong. They talking in caps and everything. Like, you're wrong. You gotta be trolling. You don't know nothing but you talk about. You don't play this game. Blah, 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 blah. So this one dude was like, link your information. Linked it, right? He ain't say nothing about it.
Yeah, no response.
I was all the way up there, so he can't tell me that I'm wrong.
What you gonna do? That's ridiculous.
So I went above that, and I linked my Warcraft logs with the All-Stars, and again, I was top 10. So I'm like, what's up? And then he started attacking me personally.
Of course. It's nothing else to do.
He started foaming at them. Now this one dude. But everybody else was like, no. She okay, she clearly knows what she's talking about. Like, let me be quiet. I feel like that's a smart thing to do. This one dude just kept going. And then the popular Holy Paladin dude, he commented, and he was like, the only reason I play Venthyr is because of my group that he pushes keys with. If he didn't push keys with them, or like he was plugging, he would be carrying. And then it was like a whole 180 in there. Like, oh my God, Kieran, it must not be that bad. Like, they had this man's entire boot in their mouth. Like, it was like, it was just crazy. And I'm like, let me just leave. Let me leave.
People like to latch on to one thing, and this is the only thing that works. But in the end, it's if you know your class, that's so much better than if you have the right, quote unquote, talent or like whatever. Like, it's much better if you know your class and you do it well. And so, yeah, it's just so much better to have a community or a guild or whatever, friends to do keys, to do raids with, because then you'll actually get to play the game and not be declined in LFG.
Mm-hmm. So, and it's also like, it gives like space for learning.
Yeah.
If you don't know something, people are going to be patient with you and teach you. And in the community, we have people who are CE raiders. We have high key pushers. Like, I think somebody's like 3,200 already, 3,300 already. Like, we have. I don't think we have any Glads currently. We do have duelists, though. I have to think. We do have duelists. But yeah, it gives people the space to like actually slow down and learn. Because I hate, like, if I'm leveling up a character and then in the leveling dungeons, you hit something, it dies immediately. But then people start raging at you in the leveling dungeons, and I'm like, there is no need for y'all to be this angry in a leveling dungeon. Like, just go ahead on. But I would say that entire thing is the best thing that's come out of that
community. Yeah.
We can just chill and play together and actually get things done.
Right.
In the game, like, the main thing that I've been pushing with everybody is work on your professions. Work on your professions, because them auction house prices be kind of crazy. They be bank breaking, and I'm cheap in real life, so I'm definitely cheap in the game. And I'm not spending 50,000 gold on a piece of what is that, Shadow Flame when it first came out.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, I am
That's
not
too much.
doing that. But it's like, if everybody works in their professions and they max it out, we can just go to each other for what we need. We can just send everybody what the orders, the plans, whatever it is that we need, instead of spending hundreds of thousands of gold every single season in the auction house.
Yeah.
So that's another thing that I like in the community, that I don't have to drop anything. I'd be like, yo, Q, I need pots. Hey, I need vantage rooms. I need health pots. I need whatever it is.
I'll send that order.
All of that. Like, if I need a weapon made, our warrior in there, so name is Spooky, love him by love, if he's listening, love you. But he has weaponsmithing for blacksmithing, and I have armor smithing. We figure it out. We get it going.
That's it.
Stuff. So that's the second best thing that's come out of that community, is that we can just come to each other for what we need. And that's just as far as gaming. In real life, like we take care of each other. We have to, like, if somebody's in a bind, like we come together and we figure it out, and we try to get everybody what they need to move on. And it could be something as small as, like, just eating, or making sure. Previously, like, we had a lady in there, she's not in there anymore, we had to remove her, but she's having a baby. We ended up coming together and, like, buying as much things off her registry as possible. We had another guy in here who had a job interview after not having a job for a while. We got together, we bought him, like, a work uniform and stuff. Like, it goes past the gaming.
Yeah.
Because I'm not gonna say, I don't want to speak for everybody, but for me, it's like they're all I have in this online thing. They're pretty much all I got. Like, I talk to them every day. We have this phone numbers, we FaceTime, we talk, we convene. And in real life as well, so I'm not saying it's not real life, but in me, where I'm at, I don't have many friends in real life. Like, not real life, like personal friends, like physical friends.
Yeah.
And I consider them to be like friends, if not like my close family. And I'm going to treat them as such. So, like, if I tell them all the time, and I'm not saying I'm well off by any means. It's still crazy out here in these streets. But if somebody needs something, I always remind them every few weeks, if anybody in here needs something, please DM me. And if I have it, I'll send it. Whatever you need, I'll support, I'll share, whatever it is. Like, I got you all the time. And sorry. My apologies.
You good?
It'll be between me and you. I'm not gonna go blasting, hey, this person, couldn't eat today. Like, I'm not gonna do that. I'm not saying that that's happened, but like, I like to keep the bridges I build with people very stable. And that's a part of, I feel like, taking care of your people, especially since I started this. And I'm not saying I'm responsible for anybody, but they're my people. So I got to make sure that they're straight. And we all do this for each other, basically. So
that's family. Yeah, if you can help, you help.
Pretty much. Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah. Like,
so let's talk what lies ahead. What's your hopes and dreams for you personally? Let's start there. For Yamazonia, what are you shooting for? Because I've seen some tweets. I know you got some goals. There's some things you want to reach, and so let's start Yamazonia. Yeah, shoot.
Is to not be chronically single anymore. That is my first goal. Oh my God. It sucks so bad. Like, I'm okay with being single. I'm okay with, living alone and stuff like that. I'm okay with, just having my me time all the time. But, times do come where it's like, okay, I'm having a little bit too much me time. I just, from my experience in the dating world, because I recently started dating and stuff again, if you on any apps, just delete them, please, because ain't nothing out there. There's nothing of quality. Actually, I met a guy, but we're just talking right now. But yeah, that's my first goal.
All right, yeah.
To find somebody that, like, plays games. Let me be specific. I'm gonna be very, very clear. If my future ex-husband out there listening, you gotta play games, okay? Because I don't want to be explaining to you, well, I'm sitting here 5-6 hours a day, no life in this game. All right, I need you to have your own thing, or you play World of Warcraft as well, like, so you understand,
I feel
it. Yeah. But that's my first thing personally, like, outside of the community, outside of the game. That's like what I've been, like, not necessarily working on, because, like, a part of me is like, go out there and put yourself out there and go to these bars and these clubs, and not the clubs per se, but like go where the single men, I like ladies too, but the single men be, and go put yourself out there. But at the same time, it's like, maybe I should just sit back and just let them, find me, if that makes sense. But at the same time, it's like I stay in the house. So it's like, how are they going to find
I
me
can
in my
find
house
me.
if I'm always in the house?
It's
So
got
I
to be
got to
both. Yeah.
out there and put myself out there. But it's a lot of danger out there. Honestly, like some of the men I've come across in maybe the past 3 months have just been atrocious. Honestly, one of them actually got violent with me. So
No. Mm-mm.
it's not carry now. All right, I blow all that smoke out somebody's chest immediately. But I haven't had like an incident like that in like a good few months now. So I'm okay to like get back out there and start trying. But I do feel like a lot of men are like, I don't want to like emasculate any of them or anything like that, but I do feel like a lot of them are like intimidated by me. They see me. I have my stuff together. I have a few sources of income. Like, and I have my own place. I drive a car. I have it's a nice car, but it's a nice car. And I feel like I'm emotionally stable. I'm mentally stable. Like I am healed. It's the heart. Where
All of it.
what is the age? I think
The
the age
tiny
is
heart? Yeah, I don't know.
that we're healed around here. And it's like some of the men I've come across that they just want me to be either a bum or broken or,
Ridiculous. Yeah.
easily like manipulated and stuff. And then it's like when I'm not that, it just doesn't work out for the good, of course. It just doesn't work out though.
Got to find a healed man for your healed self.
Yes. A healed man with his stuff together. Let me be specific.
And a gamer. Those are the two. Be healed and be a gamer. And then we good to go.
Like stuff together, gamers, like right up under that. I need somebody that plays. You don't have to be World of Warcraft, doesn't have to be MMO, but just somebody that plays games. Because like I be seeing all these little couples, little setups and everything. And I'm like, oh, that's cute. That's so
it's
nice.
Real cute.
It must be nice.
Obviously, I mean,
but yeah. So that's one.
Mm.
Other than that, it's just I've just been trying to take better care of myself as far as like watching what I eat or don't eat, or making sure that I am loving myself properly and efficiently. Because you know how easy it is when you look in the mirror, you see everything that's wrong with you and everything you want to fix if you have the money and stuff like that. And I'm definitely not saying I don't love myself, but I just feel like I can love myself better. And that's the second thing I would say. It's just to make sure that I am speaking more love and light into myself, because my community definitely does it. They do it all the time, but I just want to have that for myself. I feel like I'm rambling, but
you gotta take care of yourself. It doesn't matter how many people tell you that you're awesome and you're loved if you don't feel it yourself.
Yes. So, and I feel like if I can't do that for other people if I'm not doing it for myself. So
it's a good goal.
That's number 2. Number 3. I don't think I have a number 3. Honestly,
that's
I
good.
think everything else in my life has been pretty chill.
Yeah.
For the most part, like I'm not well off by any means, but I am comfortable, and I want other people to be comfortable as well. So, I did apply for Black Mafia to be a nonprofit.
All right.
So we got approved. We got approved for that.
Let's go.
I was scared. Because you can log on and see like the status of your application and stuff, and it's been like a month with no movement or anything like that. Oh no, they're going to deny us for the name and everything. But I got a letter in the mail.
Did that just happen? Is it new?
Maybe like 2 weeks ago.
All right.
So with that, actually, this is number 3. With that, I've been applying for grants, for sponsors, for everything. Like I've been trying to put us out there more outside of just the WoW community. Just like, again, I'm sure you know what I mean when I say in real life. But
I get it.
In real life, like
in real life,
trying to, just put us out there like more professionally, because running a nonprofit is technically a business at the end of the day.
Yeah.
And have been teaching myself so many things, because like when I applied to begin with, I was on a lady with the IRS for like 4 hours. Like she was explaining everything to me, because all those big words they was using, and then like it wasn't even like big words, it was just like how they were putting things together and stuff. It was like, I feel like the IRS like purposely makes it difficult for you to understand things.
Probably.
But just to apply, it was like $300 just to send in an application for it, and you don't get that back if they deny you. So I made sure I called, and she walked me through everything, and I understood everything, and I know what I'm supposed to do, and whatever I don't know, I looked it up and I YouTube videoed it and whatever. I just need to make sure. I wanted to make sure that I was as knowledgeable as possible going into this, and obviously this is my first technical business thing, which is another thing on its own. Aside from a nonprofit, it's still a business.
It's a lot.
So understand all those things and learn all that stuff, and commit everything to memory, and it's a lot. A lot. Everybody that has a business, oh my God, they have the utmost respect for me, because it is so much to do, so much to manage, so many things that you have to have your eye on all the time. And which is another thing that another reason why I don't say or respond to like the online trolls a lot, because now that I'm applying for things and everything, I do not want them to look me up and be like, hey, you still like mentally childish or whatever it is. Like, you gotta respond to everything. Like, it's not a good look, blah, blah, blah. Like, they don't want to sponsor you if they're up here, causing a ruckus, even though they be starting with us. They be starting with us. But that's another thing now that we are official.
Yeah.
Have everything in order on with that part. But yeah, I'm just
nice.
I'm tired of thinking about it.
Yeah, that's fine. So I got so for Black Mafia, in a year, if you could dream, where would you be at in a year? Like, what would you be doing? What would the organization be doing if you could dream?
Traveling. For me personally, traveling.
All right.
I want to see everybody. I want to see them in person. I want to see how people are doing. I want to make sure that I can give as much as possible. If it's something small, something large, again, one of our things is we want to make sure that people have access to proper gaming equipment. They have access to internet, they have access to a comfortable chair. If you're listening, or if you see this in the future, you know who I'm talking about. We had a community member, his chair broke while we were raiding.
Oh,
one of the other community members ended up sending them money for a new chair.
Yes.
But I want to be able to do things like that. I want to see people happy and joyful, and I want to see people on as popular as as popular as the white creators and things like that. And I want them to again see themselves in a better position, or just doing whatever it is that makes them happy and their heart happy. And I just want to make sure that they have the tools needed to get there. So obviously traveling, definitely fundraising. I'm definitely not going to be on. I don't think I'm going to be on Mr. Beast level at all. But I do a lot about being able to just go to a store and just buy whatever it is that people need in a store, or go into a food market and just being able to just swipe on every single register as people going along and things like that. I fantasize about, it may sound delusional, but I fantasize about doing things like that.
I love it.
And so that's where I see mine. So as far as a community, just bigger and doing better, and actually helping, being not actually, because we do help, but being physically able to help more and do more, and just overall just be seen more and actually respected and recognized, and all that, all other little happy adjectives and stuff. But that's where I see us a year from now, because again, we've made a lot of progress. Last year this time it was just me. It was literally just me, and seeing where we are now, it's It's a big thing. It's
It's a
honestly a
lot.
big thing because people have been trying to build communities for years and or streaming for years and are, still in the same spot. So I'm very grateful for everybody that has helped. And it went from again just me being there and doing everything, or me and Naw, her name is Naw, I love you Naw, me and Naw doing everything together to, now there is like I think 7 of us who are each have our own functions and we are overseeing those functions for everybody in the community and stuff. So it takes a lot off of my shoulders. Like again, I don't have to like look at everything anymore. I just, would be like, hey, this person, how's this going? Or how's this going? And just check in with people and stuff. So
Yeah.
one day I know I'll be able to pay them as much as I want to for their efforts and everything because and I had let them know before I even asked them, like, I can't, y'all know I can't pay you right now. So a lot of them are doing this, because they love the community and, they love me and they want to see us in a better position. So they're dedicating a lot of their personal time to to the community,
Yeah.
basically. So, I'm a reward them as soon as I can. As soon as I got the coins, I got y'all. And
That's
they, they
huge.
can like it's not about the money, blah blah blah. And I'm like, yeah, until I send you a $5 paycheck in the future, then you're gonna be like, where the rest of it at? Like where the
I
other zero?
gotta,
Yeah.
yeah.
So that's where I see us or me in the community. That's
I love
so
it.
yeah.
I love it. All right, we're gonna start wrapping up this interview. I think I've hold you for quite enough, but I have two last questions that I've been asking every person I've interviewed, and I call it. I say that I'm on a throwback crusade, and it started as an idea when all the things about Blizzard came to light in 2021 about the sexual harassment and all the lawsuits, and how at the time there was just a lot of rightfully so negativity and a lot of questions about what is our community, what is Blizzard, what are we doing, and kind of refocusing some of that to while still boosting all that and talking about that, but also highlighting the good in our communities and the good in that the experiences that we've made that aren't Blizzard's. Not that Blizzard hasn't created, but we have created, and that are still ours and that are still worth something. And so, my first question is: what is your first vivid memory of a Blizzard game that made you realize, oh, I want to do more of this. I want to continue to do this.
I would say my uncle. He's been playing WoW since it came out, practically. And I remember being like super, 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 super young. I was still in the single digits at that time. And he was playing a game. He was playing WoW. And then he had like a community and stuff that he was playing with. And then I remember like I would be sitting there watching, I was sitting there watching TV. And all I can hear is yelling and screaming and, like, what are y'all doing? Why y'all? It's like, stand here, stand here. You're not supposed to be over there. You're supposed to do this. Mechanics, guys, mechanics. They just screaming. and people, I think they used Ventrilo back then, but they just screaming at these people. And then sometimes, like when he would fish or anything like that, and he would just be sitting there singing his songs while he's running around in the game and everything. And I think like and this is from what he told me, like my chair would scoot closer to him every single time he would play the game to the point where like I was like all up under him or I was sitting in his lap while he was playing the game and stuff. And eventually he got me my own computer. It was like a real, real big back ones back then. But yeah, so he actually had all of us as a family playing it. Like we all had
Oh
like our own.
wow.
Yeah, he I think he was in the Navy back then, but he made like a lot of money back then. I don't know his ranking or anything like that, but I'm pretty sure he was higher up because he had a nice house, had a nice money. So every like summer we would go down there and visit him. But we would play as a family, and I think he forced us to play Alliance because that was that was all he played at the time. And so that was I think I had like I think it was Night Elf. I was playing a Night Elf and I was just walking around the Night Elf starting zone, just killing the little boars and everything like
Yeah.
that. being scared to like go through portals. I remember the first time I went through the portal for Undercity, and I was scared. I was so scared inside. I'm like, oh, I done broke the game. I don't know what I'm supposed to do. I don't know if I went anywhere wrong. And then when I died the first time, I thought that like that was it. So I would just create a new character, and I
Oh no.
all my characters think fell out. Like, when they died, that was it.
That was it.
And then my second most vivid memory, I think, I don't know what I think was Burning Crusade when like Outlands had came out, and I had a mage at the time, and I remember being in, I don't know, I think it's in the Grand, but it's like the green area, the big green leafy area.
Sounds like
And
the Grand, yeah.
I had 3 mages. I had a frost mage, a fire mage, and an arcane mage because I didn't know that you can swap specs in the game. And mind you, I leveled all of them up. I did all the quests on all of them and everything. And when it dawned on me that I could swap specs, I kid you not, I literally alt F4'd. I turned my computer off. I went to go watch TV. I went to go lay down, and I had to think about life because I'm like, I'm playing this game all this time, and I didn't know I could do that. And then it wasn't even like just my majors, other characters that I was doing that with, and I was like, what else don't I know?
Right.
That's what things like, oh my god, I didn't even know there was raids. I didn't know there was dungeons. I was just like a casual quester, professional. Yeah. I was just chilling. But that was crazy. That was
That's
so
hilarious.
crazy.
I love that. I've had not the same, but I've lost the first like month or 2 that I played. I think I lost like 4 characters to ghosting. I just couldn't find my corpse. So I released and I just lost my ghost, and I was like, I have no. So I just started a new character. So I feel that. I feel that in my soul. And then my very last question: what is your or one of your favorite memories in the game or in the community? If you could choose one moment or one thing from the game or from the community surrounding it.
I would say, oh my god, there's so many. I'm trying to like pinpoint one. I would say when Sylvanas first was introduced in the game. I love her. I adore her. I am like, what was that quest? A Sylvanas loyalist? That's me. I even have the whole, I don't know if I should show you, but I have the entire statue of her. Like, I have posters everywhere. Like, I adore her so much, and I loved her from the first time they introduced her into the game. Like the way her voice actor, how she talked, like what she would say, like how she carried herself in the game. Because in my head, like, you know, she was HBIC. You know, she was that be in charge, and I was like, I am hooked on her. So like when I was going through her storyline and stuff, like the campaign for her, it was like, because like before her, I was just cruising. Like I didn't really attach myself to any character or anybody or any area in the game. But yeah, when she came out, and that was it for me. I was like, okay, I'm never playing another game ever in my life. Like as long as she is here, I will be here. So like when the whole Shadowlands things happened, everybody, you know, I would like show people. I'd be like, yeah, Savannah's did nothing wrong. And then you would like, man, what the hell? Start going off. And I'm like, no, she do nothing wrong. She do nothing wrong. She ain't say nothing wrong. They started with her. All right, ain't no rules in war. Ain't no rules in war. They shouldn't have been talking all that mess. If they wasn't talking all that mess, she wouldn't have did what she did. Like, but I will defend her to the end of time. So I am hoping that they don't kill her character off, because that would be very painful. Like she was like number 1. She still is number 1, but that was like my first, I would say, emotional attachment to the game. So that's my favorite character, because I think I remember the troll. I wasn't the troll, was an orc, Garrosh, or somebody call her the B word.
It's Garrosh, yeah. Garrosh.
Okay, Garrosh. Somebody called her the B word, and Garrosh called her the B word, and I was like, fight him.
And we did. We took care of it.
Talking to her like that. Like, you gotta put some respect on her name. Like, I was ready to go to war for her during that scene. But I would just say it was just a story writing back then for me. That everything, like her explaining her banshees and stuff like that. I think they're called banshees, but just that's my absolute favorite moment, my most vivid, my absolute. I love her. So
I love it.
That's it for me.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you so much for taking the time for being here. It's great to hear about you. Great to hear about Black Mafia. And if someone wants to find you and Black Mafia online, where can they do that?
I would say our Twitter page is just. That's crazy. How I don't know what my username is. But look it up real quick. I want to make sure I am correct. It is Black_Mafia. Wow. That is the only page I have where the DMs are open. Again, we do a lot of hate messages up in there, but I still look because like that's how I have found a majority of my community members, my current members now, is because of that page. So that's where I was saying to go on Twitter. So.
I love it. And do you stream? How do people find your stream? What are you called?
Yamazonia. YAMAZOINA. That is it. That is my screen name on all of my platforms, on Twitter, on Instagram, not on Facebook, on Snapchat. I don't really use Snapchat no more. Oh my God, I just realized it looked like my eye is like so late. That's so bad. Oh my God, it's the eyelash.
You look great. You look great. Yeah, don't you even worry about it. I haven't noticed. You're good. You're good.
Oh my God. Nothing against people with like lazy eyes, but that's so embarrassing.
You're good. Don't worry about it. You look great. You look great.
That's where, Yamazonia on everything. That's what we're finding.
So we'll have the links to that, both to Amazonia's Twitch and to Twitter and to Black Mafia's Twitter. Make sure to follow them, reach out to them if you want to join the community. I'm sure they would love to have you. They're growing. So thank you again, Yamazonia. Thank you so much for being here, and I hope we get to talk again soon.
Oh, well, we will. We will. If we want to come up, I'm like, I got the perfect person for the podcast. I got the perfect person. But yes, thanks for having me also again. Sylvanus ain't doing nothing wrong. Okay.
Well, and with that, Sylvanus do nothing wrong. Until next time.
Nothing wrong.